Welcome. This is video number 3 on a series of guitar building videos that I will be filming and sharing my concepts of guitar fabrication, custom guitars. There's so much to be said and done about this type of a career, and hopefully I can enlighten this for you and be an inspiration to help you build your own custom guitar. I'd like to say thank you so much for the contributions in the amount of subscribers that I am accumulating on my YouTube channel. I have a lot of dedicated fans out there, and I am so grateful. So I'd just like to say thanks again, and share these videos with your friends, and stay tuned for upcoming videos related to guitar fabrication. So on this video we're going to cover the guitar body. So let's get right into it. My name is Karl Sandoval. I'm a guitar luthier, that's basically a guitar builder, and I will be showing you some really cool ideas and tips for building your own guitar. Now I know on the previous video, number 2, I had spoken about the type of body we were going to use, the type of neck we were going to use. It's the Star body as a recap. It's basically a modified Explorer. The back end is V'd out, and it's kind of a sleek looking metal guitar, but that's our body design. And so what we're going to focus on this video is the wood blank. On the previous video I had spoken about using mahogany, and you can use mahogany. You know, in building these custom guitars, the sky's the limit. I mean, you can research and probably use just a huge variety of different types of species of woods for guitar bodies, necks, and fingerboards, etc. So we were going to go with Honduras mahogany or whatever other mahogany species there are, but I've changed my mind. I'm going to use a lesser expensive wood. This is called alder. It's a very simple looking grain. It's easy to work with. It's sort of light to medium weight, and it definitely will work out great for this particular model. Many guitars in the past have been made with alder, and they sound great. The tone is pretty unique and awesome. So one of the first things I'd like to point out is that we'll need a few little items here to get this done. First of all, there's the lumber at hand, and I'll get into a little more of that in a moment. But we will need these long, they're about 24-inch type adjusting clamps. We'll need 4 of those, and we will need our adequate wood glue. You can go to your local big box hardware stores and find a good adequate wood glue. It's you know, they've got so many on the market, so I don't want to give out any names. Just go there and look under the adhesives, and you'll see wood glues available. We will need a measuring tape. You all know what that is. Maybe a small straight edge pencil, and a good tip is wet paper towels, because this is what we will use to wipe up our wood glue with. The wood glue that I use is water soluble, so if you ever want to thin it out for whatever reason, you can do that. Just be careful how much water you apply. You don't want to take the quality of the glue away by diluting it too much, but there are some applications where you need to do that. When you have residue overflow, it's easy to wipe up with a wet paper towel. Alright, so getting to the wood itself, I went to a local wood supplier near my city, and they have a tremendous amount of exotic woods and hardwoods and, you know, everyday woods that carpenters and woodworkers use. And when I buy my lumber, the lumber that I need for a body is 3/4 of an inch, 1 3/4 of an inch thick. That's this thickness here. And the width that we have here, this is close to about 6 or 7 inches, but the planks that I buy are 8, 10 feet, sometimes 12 feet long, and then I cut them down to the lengths that I need. If you have a limited space in your vehicle to haul this wood around, at the lumber place, they would probably be more than happy, it might be a little extra fee, to cut it to basic size, the size and length that you need. The length that we need on this body is 25 to 28 inches approximately. We want to make sure we have enough room for our neck overhang for shaping reasons. Since this is going to be a set neck, there's bolt-on set neck and neck through versions, but what we're going to go with is a set neck version, which we will get into later. So we got 25 to 28 inch in length. The overall width is approximately, you can go 16 to 18 inches for this particular model. So whatever width your planks come in, for example, I've got 2 pieces here. One width is 9.5 approximately, and the other width is 7 inches. So do the math, and I'm getting, about close to 16.5 inches. So we've got 9.5 inches here, and we've got approximately 7 inches here. These widths can vary. It doesn't have to be what I'm indicating here. As long as you get a total width of between 16 to 18 inches, and then a total length, once again, of 25 to 28 inches. Of course, there will be extra which will be cut off, which is, that's not a problem. So typically when you buy these planks, what they'll do is they will join one end. So if I get a close-up here, we can see that this is actually pretty smooth. So that's been joined, and you can see this is a rough side. It shows the rough texture of a bandsaw cut. That we have to get rid of. And the method that I use when I cut the lengths of my blanks that I'm going to glue up to make a billet, I run one side through my joiner. If it's not joined, chances are it will be, which would save time, money, and effort for you. But if not, you can always run it through a joiner, and once you run it through, it'll smooth out our 2 connecting end pieces. So both of these have been joined. I've already checked them over. They look pretty smooth. They're pretty flat. You don't want any humps. You don't want any bows. You don't want any over bows. You want them to be as straight as possible to make your glue joint. So what I'm going to do here next is apply my wood glue, and it'll actually go pretty quick. And I know I'm going to end up with some glue dripping all over the place, but I have a towel on my bench, and if the glue gets on the towel, then I just kind of wipe it up. And this utility towel is it's got paint on it, it's got sanding residue, sawdust, chips, everything. But I shake it out once in a while and keep it clean. That's this towel here. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing glued and clamped. It's actually pretty simple. All right, we're getting in view here, so I'm going to apply a good amount of wood glue to one side. I'll do both sides. Usually I do them together, but I'm going to do one at a time so you get an idea of what I do. I use my finger and I just flatten the glue out, and you want to make sure that you cover the complete surface gluing area. And like I say, this glue is water soluble. It'll come off if you don't want to use your finger, if you're sensitive to touching icky things, then use a push, use a paddle of some sort. I've got these pieces of look, I've got glue on my finger, water soluble, just wipe it off, no biggie. You can use a stick, to spread the glue. And you just want to make sure that you get it spread evenly. That you don't want to leave any dry spots. You just need to apply enough to cover the surface, and you're going to apply it on both sides. This is a pretty basic and simple thing to do, gluing a billet together. And let me tell you, when this glue joint is done, it will be glued. It will be bonded extremely well. If you need to add a little more, no worries, add a little more. You don't want to be too dry. What I like to see is when I clamp these two pieces together, I like to see the glue oozing out. Now, what you got to remember is if the glue is easing out, it's finding a quick path to escape. And, because the pressure is just getting too great internally. But you got to remember that not only will it push outward, out of the seams, but it'll also push in, so, you're assured to get a really tight bond. And this is what you want. Ample glue on both surfaces. You have time to actually, work it. But I kind of look at it, make sure I don't have any dry spots. Although, if there's some minimal dry spots, they'll probably get covered as the glue oozes within the surface area. So there we are. We now have our glue. And what I'm going to do here is we're going to be using some C-clamps too. I forgot to mention that earlier. It's what it is. We're videotaping on the fly. This is just basic work. I'm not a professional filmmaker by any means, so just bear with me. We'll get this done. Think about the contents, focus on that. That's what we're really dealing with. I have these flat glue blocks, and what I did was I just put saran wrap, cellophane, anything like that on here that would cover up the wood, because I don't want this wood to stick onto my guitar body seams. So they're pretty flat. You can just cut up pieces of wood. And what this is going to do is it's going to keep the body from, see if we can get, the body's going to want to do this. When I glue it together, the body's going to want to move because of the glue. The two pieces are going to want to shift back and forth. So what I'm going to do is clamp this on the ends where the seams are, and that, as you can see, it'll flatten and keep everything from shifting. You'll see right now as I demonstrate it. So I'm going to lay down our piece here and our other piece like so. And before I clamp this way, I'm going to apply 4 of these long clamps. I'm going to place a block here and a block on top, and I'm sandwiching my 2 pieces with a C-clamp. Now this C-clamp is pretty big, and it'll open up pretty wide to accommodate the width that I need. You'll see what happens here. I gotta be careful not to loosen too much or not enough. So we clamp it up, get it a little snug. I just want to make certain that I'm aligning everything. I'm going to align the 2 planks this way, so it'll be flush here. I don't know if you can see it right here. I'll show you when we're done. And let's get two more. It doesn't matter what size they are, but the means of what's happening here and what's going to be accomplished is really cool. I love it. This is basic woodworking 101. I mean, if there's any type of larger plank that you need to make, you can use the same method. So let's put another set here. And I'm going to apply another, trying to make certain that I get this all on film. So if you see my back or if you see my bald head, forgive me. All right, let's elevate this up a little bit. This is a one-man job. Two men, you know, if you got somebody there to help you, you know, it'll work. So there. Now what I've done here, if I sandwich the seam area, the wood's not going to want to shift on me now when I apply pressure in gluing up the two pieces. So what I'm going to do is apply one of the long clamps here towards the end, probably about 2 inches away from the end, in the center of the block or plank. Just clamp that down. I can already see the glue oozing up. Okay, let's put another one here. Like so. And I'm not, you know, I'm applying some pressure, but not a lot, and I can see the glue starting to ooze up. And if you want, since you have a lot of room here, you can start wiping. I know the blank's it's at an angle. I'm hoping you can see that, but anyway, let's see. Maybe if I tilt it like this. What I was doing was wiping off this glue. It's starting to come up now. Now you may have minimal warpage on warpness on these planks because they are longer, and Mother Nature wants to twist and warp and do all these funny things. But I'll show you how we'll eliminate that. If it's I'm talking about like a 64th of an inch or even less than that, you know, the thickness of a piece of paper. I mean, because our fingers are so sensitive and we can feel that difference. So let me tighten these a little more. These clamps, I mean, you go to your local big box hardware store, you know, they've got these C-clamps, they've got these long clamps. And price range, well, they're pretty reasonable. I mean, they'll last you forever. I mean, I've had these so long. All right, a couple more clamps, and we pretty much have it done. So I like to put clamps on both sides. Make sure I can get this right. I just kind of turn my clamp down, you know, to get it in the middle. I can see on the back side, and I can see here that I'm pretty close to being in the middle. When I mean in the middle, I mean like right about here, the halfway thickness of each plank. Look at that, it's staying up. How about that? Yeah, it's because I have the clamp down here. All right, let's add on the fourth one. Basic woodworking. This is stuff I've learned way back when I was in high school, and I've used it ever since. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Loved woodshop in high school. All right, I'm really putting some pressure now, just turning these to where they're really snug, and you can probably see some of the whiteness here. That's the glue coming up. And I'm going to take my wet paper towels and just go to town and wipe up as much as I can. Don't worry about smearing it. Just get as much of that glue off as you can. The reason why I like to wipe off the glue is because in the long run, it's a hard material when it's dried, and it can mess up your cutting blades on the machines that you have. Like, I'll be running this through a thickness planer, and you know, I don't like to leave big chunks of wood glue there. I mean, those blades will eat right through it, but you know, let's save some of the blades on those machines that we have. So there, I got most of it wiped off. Let me lift this up. It's going to be pretty heavy now, so be careful. Remember, as you're doing these steps, you know, you're kind of doing them at your own risk. I really don't. These videos aren't about safety, although I will be talking about some safety. But if, you know, the basic understanding of sharp objects and heavy objects and, you know, hitting yourself in the hand with a hammer, you know, there's some basic knowledge. If you want to understand more about techniques of gluing or using equipment, just go online. But everybody's going to have some kind of a disclaimer, you know, regarding their videos. And remember, if you're doing this type of work, you're on your own there. I mean, I could show you some, but you're doing so at your own risk. Remember that. All right, there we are. We are glued up. We have a billet now. And I can feel that that's pretty flat and flush. A little bit. This one may have a little bit of a tweak in it, or maybe it's just uneven, you know. I mean, wood will change because of moisture and temperature, but there it is. There's your basic body blank, and I'll be putting it on at an angle. It's not going to go directly straight in line with the glue seam. I'm going to have to turn it a little bit, but that's it. 1 3/4 by 25 by 16, and this is alder, and that's all there is to it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is a real basic video on gluing our body blank together. Please remember to share these videos with your friends, and by all means, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my YouTube channel and learn more about tips, procedures, and facts on how to build a custom guitar. I love you all. I am so grateful for the many contributions and the gifts that are coming my way. And if you have that opportunity to share and help fund these videos, to keep them coming, I would greatly appreciate it. You can do that by my PayPal account, which is my email, carl@karlsandoval.com. carl@karlsandoval.com, all lowercase, and I spell my name with the letter K, not the letter C, letter K. So if you have donated, God bless you and thank you. If you feel like you want to contribute to help fund everything, we're moving along. I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun, and enjoy building your custom guitar. Until video number 4, which will have more intriguing and exciting tips on guitar building. We'll see you then. God bless and thank you.